I was a retail manager for many years, and very successful at it, but it reached a point where I didn't want to be working 60-hour weeks. I didn't mind working 60-hour weeks, but it was for someone who was upset that we didn't have a size 0 in a pair of jeans. There was no purpose to the work. So my mother came down with cancer, and she was dying in hospice, and I was absolutely inspired by the nurses in hospice and just the hope. Even though it was that I knew my mother was dying, still was comfort there, and I was very inspired by those nurses. So I decided to go back to school and become a nurse. I had already spent a number of years at college. I had received my bachelor's of biology, and I felt that it was time for me to work in the clinical setting. As an LPN, I didn't have much experience in clinical setting, so I wanted to find a way to be able to work and to also get my RN without sitting in a classroom or having to basically sit in a classroom, because I'm juggling a family and work. So I wanted to just find a way to do it. I felt that I studied hard enough to get my LPN and to get enough knowledge through that once I took the next leap, that on that foundation I'd be able to go do it with the college network. I feel that you're limited in the scope of your practice as an LPN. You work in the clinical setting, you do have direct care with the patients. However, you're limited with the communication and with the doctors and actually putting forth how you feel your patients are doing. And the next step to be able to do that is to be an RN. So in order to have more say in the collaborative care of my patients, I feel it's necessary to be an RN. I felt ready. I had taken a number of practice exams. I'd scored well on them. So I felt ready. I felt going in there that I wasn't going to be behind the 8 ball, that I was going to do well on the exam. And actually going through the exam, it was, there wasn't the second guessing of questions. It was, okay, I definitely know this, I definitely know this. I didn't have to flag anything. A lot of it was just, it felt like review from previous things I've done. I needed, I believe I needed 8 exams. I'm done. I just finished my last exam. So I'm waiting to take my clinical exam and then my NCLEX. And through this program, I feel much more prepared for an NCLEX, because when you take a general college course, the professor is making the exam. The professor is going to steer you when they're teaching the course in the direction of what those questions are. So you kind of get a narrow amount of knowledge rather than a broad amount of knowledge. So then when you go back and you study for the NCLEX, there's things that you may have missed. But the way these exams are set, you have to know the broad knowledge. I feel that leaping into an NCLEX from this, my review is going to be nowhere near what it was when I went to take my LPN NCLEX, because I had to learn everything, because I didn't know what was going to be on the exams. I would definitely recommend the program. I feel that it helps people. It definitely is a solution to working nurses, and there's nothing more than working in the clinical setting. You need that in order to prepare yourself for the next step. So this allows you to do both.